This story that I'm about to tell you happened many years ago, in the 1940s, but every detail remains in my memory as if it had occurred just yesterday. Back then, this town was a place where everyone knew each other. Tragedies and joys were shared alike. However, there was a constant at every funeral I attended when I was a child. A woman of unsettling presence who was always there, dressed in black from head to toe, with a veil covering her face. She never spoke to anyone and always kept to the sidelines, like a shadow among the tombstones. The most disturbing thing about her was her habit. At some point during each burial, she would discreetly approach someone and stare into their eyes for a few seconds. Those who were the object of her gaze wouldn't give it much importance at first. But over time, a strange coincidence began to emerge. The next death in the town always happened to be the person she had chosen to look at. I remember 3 particular events that chilled my blood and made me believe in the stories that adults whispered at nightfall. The incident involved the town's blacksmith, a man with a strong temperament, known not only for his skill at the forge but also for his constant fights and unfair dealings. At the funeral of one of our most beloved neighbors, I saw her. She slipped through the crowd, stood in front of the blacksmith, and looked at him. The next day, the blacksmith was found dead in his workshop with no explanation. The second case was that of Widow Thompson, who had been caught stealing in the market several times. Considering her desperate situation, her neighbors tried to help her, but she scorned the assistance. At the funeral of the baker's young daughter, the woman in black repeated her ritual, and, as if following a script, Widow Thompson did not wake up alive the next day. The third event occurred with the mayor, known for his ambition and corruption. During the burial of the old schoolmaster, his eyes met those of the mysterious woman. A week later, an unexpected accident took his life. The townspeople began to say that the woman in black was some sort of angel of death, choosing those whose morality was stained. But how could that be possible? Then came the day when it was my turn to feel her gaze. I was just a child and had gone to the funeral of a family friend. As I leaned in to leave a flower on the grave, I felt her behind me. I turned around, and for a moment our eyes met. But something unexpected happened. Almost immediately, she looked away and walked off. That moment changed my life. I spent sleepless nights waiting for death to come for me, but it never did. Now, as an old man, I believe I have understood. That woman, if we can call her that, was not merely a messenger of death. She seemed to have the ability to choose, and her choices were not random. Although she considered for a moment that my young life should end, something stopped her. Perhaps she saw in me the innocence or the possibility of redemption that the others did not have. I never saw the woman in black again after that day, and over time, the stories about her turned into local legends. But every time I walk past the cemetery, I can't help but look over my shoulder, half expecting, half fearing, to see that solitary figure among the graves.